What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and normally I wouldn't be able to do a video like this because I do not own firearms like this. I am borrowing this from a buddy and we're going to be doing the full comparison of it. This is mine, this is his. They're both from Beretta, they're both from the same family of PX4 Storm lineups. This is discontinued, this is their new release. I'm going to let you guys know right now what I would like to see going forward from Beretta is this release with everything that has. Let's get into it. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and safety check and clear the firearms. And a lot of people mentioned they just want to see them up close and personal for a couple seconds. So I'm going to do that with each firearm. Just show you everything it has. I sort of like that looks two-tone. This is the PX4 Storm Carry 2. This is their new release. The older lines got discontinued. Check that out. I honestly like the way these look, and one thing you're definitely going to notice, and we're going to talk about it, is that rotating barrel design. It's a genius design, and we're going to talk about why that is. Mine does not have it, his does. And I think the subcompacts are the only model that do not have, that setup. Now, right here is mine. This is a PX4 Storm Subcompact. They make these in 40 and in 9, but they are discontinued, but you can find them occasionally floating across the internet. But they've always been at ridiculous prices. Like, I was going to get this in 40 Smith & Wesson. I would have no problem with that because I like stuff like this in 40 Smith & Wesson. Heavier firearms, thicker firearms that handle recoil. But they were like $679 used, and the firearm had a ton of wear and tear on it. And the deal fell through. Anyways, this has a 3-inch barrel. Look how short that barrel is. Let's compare it to a Glock 26 real quick. I mean, look at barrel to barrel. That's absolutely crazy. But, like I said, this is the subcompact. What's amazing, though, is this holds 13 rounds. 13 plus 1 in a setup that is about the size of my hand. Look at it compared to a Milwaukee battery. Absolutely crazy. Now, it has so many features that make it what it is. The PX4 Carry Storm, check this out. 15 plus 1. Cleared and safety checked. Check out the single action trigger pull. Ready? It is much nicer on this than it is on mine. Let's check out mine, and we're going to talk about an awesome feature mine has. Ready? Mine's longer and heavier, whereas the new one is shorter, crisper, cleaner, and just lighter. And then as far as a double action trigger pull goes, it's solid as can be. Now, this is how you would run it. Decock it, and that's a double action trigger pull. Whereas on mine, in order to run it like that, you got to decock it, but now it's on safe. You have to flip that back up, and you now have that double action trigger pull, which once again, this is lighter. It's just a better overall trigger all around. Now, one thing that neither of these have is stippling. There is no texturing. This is some of the worst texturing I've ever seen, honestly. But my buddy's actually going to be sending it away to get it done for both of these. So that'd actually be really, really cool. Forward serrations, rear serrations on mine. Mine does come with a rail. Very deep memory pads. Sort of feels a little awkward, but I don't have a problem shooting like that. It does protect that thumb from going past that barrel a little bit, which is actually pretty nice. Now, a cool feature mine has is, check this out. Right now, I can only fit 2 fingers. I get locked in there pretty well. I have no problem shooting like this. Feels completely normal. My fingers are all in a line. It's not too tucked underneath. If you tuck it here, it feels like you're just holding, something like this with 3 fingers on it, right? But check this out. If you want to extend it, look at this base plate. Ready? Never seen that before. That is genius. Now you can get 2.5 fingers on it. Almost a full 3-finger contact. 13 plus 1, 3-inch barrel. Very, very small setup. And when you're done, clip it right back in, and there you go. It also comes with just a flush base plate that has nothing like that. On top of that, there are a ton of different back plates it comes with. I haven't messed with them yet because this actually feels pretty good in the hand. And so I'm probably just going to stick with that. The finish on this isn't two-tone, but I still really like the finish. One thing I need to do more research on is that barrel. I'm so confused why it looks like that and why it's so thick. I know why why it, comes outward like that, but not 100% why it looks the way it does. This does not have the rotating barrel. This is the only PX4 Storm line firearm that doesn't have the rotating barrel. Now, the rotating barrel is a huge thing for a lot of things. Less recoil. On top of that, less wear. That is the main reason. Less wear on your barrel. Your barrel is going to last longer, and it's going to be more accurate. This setup right here is a more accurate setup. You see how that barrel rotates? See that? Very cool design that helps with everything: recoil, accuracy, longevity, literally everything on the pistol. Now on top of that, the sights are much better. They're not tritium. I don't know if it glows. Maybe we can check that out real quick actually. I don't think it glows. It's not even like the glow-in-the-dark paint. But you can pick up those sights really well compared to my regular 3-dot iron sights. But obviously I'm sure you can find, other stuff out there. In terms of size comparison, I was actually very surprised when this carried better. Now I don't have a holster for these, so it's not 100% legit. But I carried with a sticky holster just around the house just to see how they are. And what I noticed is this carried better because of that longer barrel and because of the weight of these firearms. It prevented this happening. But all you got to do is get a holster with a wedge, and that will prevent the flapping over of the handgun due to such a short, stocky setup, right? So I wouldn't fault this at all. This is going to be much easier to carry. It's lighter, but not really by much. It just handles like the much larger firearms. Like I said, you can find them in 40. You can find them around here and there. You can find them in 9. They're awesome handguns. And another great thing about subcompacts, I always tell people, I now have a 15+1 setup. Now, people may complain about pinching, but you can actually get, X-grip type things, right? What is an X-grip? It's like a little sleeve that fills in that gap. It prevents pinching and stuff like that, which is actually really nice. And another question I had is, does this pinch? And I haven't shot with it yet, but it's like the way they built it out and the way your finger sits, it avoids that pinch altogether. You notice that? See how my pinky's sitting way down here? And this is almost above that pinch. So I don't see any pinch coming from it. I also have never experienced pinch with any handgun except for the Taurus G3C. That is the only handgun I've ever felt any sort of pinch with. I know people get them from base plates, and it's all depends on your finger size, your finger width, how much skin is on your finger, stuff like that. Mine typically don't have that issue. But I do think it's pretty cool to add something like that. Which one do I like better? Well, I definitely like the new PX4 Storm Carry. I think this is more fitting for the average person who doesn't mind carrying a little bit larger handgun, especially because the size isn't dramatically different. I mean, it's really not that dramatically different. See that? So for a lot of people, there is no reason to go with the subcompact. For me, I like deep concealment, I like lighter setups, and I like the ability to shapeshift. I can also throw in larger mags from the full size and stuff like that and have a home defense or a light on here, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to do that, but if this thing runs the way it should at the range, this is going into the rotation. I shot this, one of the flattest shooting handguns in the world, has an amazing trigger on it. I like the double action, single action trigger on it. I think everything about this handgun they did right, and I feel like this handgun's very easy to overlook because of all the slimline models, the ported models, the comp models, optics ready models. But this handgun right here is a tank. They're built to last, they're durable, they're engineered right. Let's go ahead and just take another look at them. Beautiful. I absolutely love everything about this handgun except for the texturing. The texturing is the only downside of this handgun. I don't need an optic, don't need anything. But overall, awesome looking handguns. Both are solid choices. I would never fault anybody for carry firearms like this. You don't get problems with handguns like this like you do some of these striker-fired handguns from SIG, other companies out here, Rugers. I mean, you just don't see that with Berettas. And I get they can be expensive, but if you find a decent used one, you can find them, for anywhere from $400 to probably $550. And that's a reasonable price to pay for something like this, especially because of the longevity you're going to get out of it. These are tanks, and they're built to last. These are not built like the handguns being built today, right? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.